Hello, anyone here? Hope you can hear me and see me fine. I got a bit, half an hour late. My fault, didn't prepare well and had to go and get some lunch quickly, so that's why. Is anyone here actually? I see two people waiting. Just wondering if you guys are alive and well. I'm just gonna get started anyway. Maybe it might just be me by myself, talking to myself. So today, I thought it would be quite a simple session. Very impromptu, behind the scenes kind of session. So what I'm gonna do is essentially work on my own stuff, which is my business, my freelance work, and my app that I'm working on. So these three things are the stuff that I'm working on, and I'm going to talk about some latest AR news. As you can know, like there's a lot of exciting AR stuff that happened lately. For example, AR, the Facebook announcing the Meta news, that was pretty cool. And there was also a lot of recent frameworks, new frameworks that were added, which is really exciting. So I'll go over all of that and during the break sessions, and while in between that, I'll just use a Pomodoro timer and work. So you can work on your own stuff, I'll work on my own stuff, 25 minutes, and during the break time, we'll discuss all these stuff. Business, freelance, AR, and our own journeys to the coming AR era, which is what I'm excited about and I'm thrilled about and I work towards. Hi Santosh, hi. Thanks for chatting, because there's someone, finally. I'm good, how are you? I remember you because you comment very frequently a lot of the videos, so clearly remember your AR-centric comments. I wonder if there's a delay or something. I just can't see very clearly. But anyways, hope you're doing well, Santosh. And I was saying, like, we'll just get started. So I'll start the Pomodoro timer for the first session, and in between breaks, we'll discuss all things AR, business, freelance, and stuff. So I'm actually gonna square my sheet. So one of the apps that I'm working on now, the Metaverse. Excited about the Metaverse too. So Facebook announcing Meta was a huge news, and I'm going to go over all that during the break sessions, so stay tuned, and we can discuss. Like, I would love to hear your thoughts as well. There's a lot of exciting stuff happening in AR now. The wave is really rising, and Facebook announcing Meta is definitely a wheel turner. So I'm going to get started. So what I'll do is I'll actually share my screen if you're interested to see in what I'm working on. So recently I've been working on an app that I want to publish in the iOS App Store. 3 apps actually. So first one's going to be pretty simple, but the second and third one's more AR related. But all of them are in the self-development space. So trying to use technology to improve your habits, thinking habits essentially. That's my if you want, my deepest interest, and that's what I like to create technology on. So I'm going to actually work on that, and I'll share my screen if you're interested, but you can work on your own stuff too. But other than that, let's get started. So during the break session, we'll discuss, chat, and do all stuff AR related. I think I chatted too much now. Let me switch to work mode. Hope you can see my screen, and I hope I don't share unnecessary stuff. Hi K3 Hasha. I'm doing good, man. Hope you're doing well too. I think I'm seeing you for the first time here. Not sure if you watched previous stuff, but great to see you. Hope you're a Meta enthusiast. Hello Sparsh. Oh my god, a lot of new people. Hope you're doing well. Nithara. Hello, new people too. No, she's not. She's my sister. I think I'll just wait a bit longer before officially starting. Just to see who is in here. Before starting, just curious, like, have you guys seen the Facebook's Meta news, actually? Did you actually see the conference? I know. It is fire, indeed. But did you guys actually see the actual conference, the keynote by Mark Zuckerberg? No response. It's hard to do it like a video to chat thing anyway. Anyways, I'm gonna get started, alright? So I'm gonna start the timer here, and first session starts now. And then during the break we will discuss, and I'm gonna work on my app now. The thing I need to do first is get the screenshots ready. This app is more or less ready, just a few bugs. So let me get the... Hi guys, just to let you know, I'm just going to start the work session now, so you guys can work on yours too. But after 25 minutes during the break, we'll chat again, yeah? Try to find a good... Just curious, do you guys actually know any good screenshot makers if you publish your own apps on the App Store? No worries, thanks anyway. Harsha. That's right. It's pretty simple, this one. How do you add a new one? This one. Okay, add image. Ah, yeah. Wrong. Nope. It's better. Nah. Looks bad. Oh god, not again. Start again. Let's try again. It's better. A bit stretched. Oh, I got no. So this live session's about working and discussing the latest news. So I'm not going to be talking all the time, Uday. So I'll be talking during the break sessions after the 25-minute Pomodoros. So if you look at my window here, you can see the timer, and you can just tune back in whenever it's up there. So this session will be about AR, business, freelance maybe, and then the latest AR news. We'll talk a lot about that because I guess that's what most of you are interested in. I'll come back to all these questions soon, yeah? I'm excited. Thanks for tuning in, Nilesh. But first, let me just finish this session off because I've got a lot of work. The reason why I've been making videos lately was lots and lots of work to do. So I thought might as well just, do it live and discuss in between some content. That's done. I think I'll just stop the timer now. Yeah. Stop the timer now. Hi guys, I'm too excited to chat with you guys, so I stopped the Pomodoro timer 5 minutes early. Are you guys still there? We can go over stuff if you're still tuned in. Let me actually switch back to the main cam. Yeah, that should be it. So, what are we talking about? Let's see. There you go. Yeah, we need to talk about Meta, definitely. Absolutely. We're not gonna leave this live without talking about Meta. So, I like this question by Harsha actually. What are your thoughts on NFTs? So, NFTs is not something I have fully understood yet, but I've been reading quite a couple of books, and I got my first NFT actually. So I do own an NFT, and I've just been learning about it lately by doing. And I think NFTs are going to be huge. Like, right now it's mostly to do with collectible art and stuff like that, digital arts basically. And you see like people selling it for $15 million and stuff. But I think the thing I'm excited most about NFTs is the fact that anything digital, like even this website, even this channel, even a video on this channel, could be assigned a unique ownership. So if you want to think about it this way, think about it this way, right? Like your Instagram, if you have an Instagram account or some social media account, you know how much people value the follower counts or the blue check mark. If you think about it, it's just a simple check mark like on a screen. It doesn't matter a lot, but people pay lots for it. People work like hell just to get that mark and that follower number, and that's really because it's social currency. Like people like to communicate what they are about through their digital stuff like this. So for me, like that's the exciting bit, the fact that a lot of our digital lives matters to us a lot, especially in our generation, and the fact that you could add ownership to that and even monetize that eventually more easily and more in a more scalable way. That's what excites me about NFTs. And even better, like NFTs, when you think about the AR, VR, Metaverse thing, once we all get used to the glasses and we start living in those worlds, interacting more in those worlds, and when those worlds mean a lot more to us, then you can think like, we'll care about what clothes we wear for our avatars. We'll care about what watches the avatars have, or we'll care about the virtual houses we live in, right? We might have a complex or a house or rooms. We might have like different tokens and collectibles or different digital items within our lives there. And that's where really the power of NFT lies in, because the creators then could NFT their, say, avatar, their shirts or their glasses or their digital house items. And that really is money-making machines. It becomes a money-making machine. So yeah, I think NFT in the context of the whole metaverse, I think it's going to be huge to support the creator economy in that era. Right now, the creator economy is basically YouTube, Shopify, apps, stuff like that. But when we get into the metaverse, we become 3D embodiments in those worlds, and there, the creator economy is going to take like various different dimensions that we can't think of, and that's where NFTs could be really leveraged. That's my thoughts so far. What are your thoughts? Like, do you own an NFT? I own a DC comic NFT now, so let's see if that increases in value in like 10 years time, and I could make millions of it, hopefully. What are your thoughts on NFT, Harsha? Just comment if you're still here. And then Uday, you're saying like, what is this live session about? This live session is about AR, the metaverse, business. Like, we can talk about making money in the metaverse, what that might look like. That'll be a pretty interesting topic. And then also like forming a strategy on how you can approach that kind of goals as a student now, or as someone doing solo stuff now, how you can prepare for that metaverse. We could actually talk about that. That'll be pretty interesting. And finally, we'll talk about some freelance stuff, if that's relevant. Nilesh, you're asking, is doing master's degree necessary for the AR VR? No, please don't. That's like the worst strategy to attack AR. Hello, Sitara, my cousin sister. I'll come to you soon. But I was saying, yeah, so master's degree, I don't think it's necessary at all, because this is such a new industry, AR, VR, the metaverse. It's not even there yet. We're just preparing for it. We're just like on our way to it. And what that means is getting a degree now on the Metaverse, say, or AR VR, it's like you're preparing using information that was prepared a couple of years back. Because you know how the textbooks that you see in university or the course materials that you see in university, they're not like updated in real time. Like every time there's something new happening, they're quite predated because they are prepared probably like 5-6 years back. And because it's such a new industry, the Metaverse, AR, VR, things are going to change quickly. Every single framework you learn today, like the reality kit courses that I do and all that stuff, it's going to change like within 6 months. Most of the code might become obsolete, and new frameworks will keep on adding. For example, just last week, the makers of Pokemon Go, Niantic, they made their tools public. So by tools, I mean their AR framework that they used. So it's called Lightship SDK. If you're interested, go check it out. And it does have pretty cool features, like you can segment the sky, the ground, and the trees, and make some really cool AR experiences with it. And you can also have like 2D meshes around you scanned to make, say, experiences where you throw a virtual ball and it will actually bounce off a real world tree, stuff like that. So such new frameworks will keep on coming. Niantic released theirs, so do check it out if you're interested. But what I'm saying is that it will just keep on changing, and what that means, and because of that, doing a degree to prepare for AR VR, I think it's a really, it's not worth it. The much more efficient way, I believe, is to just build something, have an idea in your head, make it simple so you can attack it one piece at a time, build it, and learn whatever you need to build it, and once you've finished building it, keep iterating, improving, and go on to the next idea. That way you'll learn a lot more stuff much more quickly. Context-driven learning is much more powerful. For example, the next app I'm not releasing, hopefully in a couple of weeks' time, will be an AR version of a to-do app, which I hope would not just be a fancy AR app, but my goal is to make it very utility-oriented, so something that's actually useful for us in our day-to-day lives. And it's just something that I made to scratch my own itch during the pandemic. And that's just an example of me trying to build something and trying to sell it in the app stores that is AR related, and learn from there. Like, I'm not an expert, like don't be mistaken, I'm not an expert at all. I'm on my way there. I'm learning, and I'm just making this channel to share my journey along the way. So that's the approach I would take instead of taking a master's degree in AR VR. Just build, do, learn, iterate. That's the long answer. Sparsh, I believe that there's a challenge in developing consumer-ready I believe that there is a challenge in developing consumer-ready AR environment. There has to be a user-friendly device like wearable glasses as compared to... Sitar, stop spamming me. Just a second, hold on. I believe that there's a challenge in developing consumer-ready AR environment. There has to be a user-friendly device like wearable glasses as compared to a phone which might be bulky. Any comments? User-friendly wearable glasses as compared to a phone which might be bulky. Yes. There's like AR on a phone and AR on the glasses, and I'm guessing you're asking like which has more potential, right? Like eventually, like if you're trying to build an app, which one you should target. So if that's, I mean you're more, I think you're more commenting than asking, so I'm just gonna bounce off that idea, and I absolutely agree. So the ideal thing is to have an AR glass that you wear and you enter and live and walk and breathe the 3D world that is layered onto our own realities. It's not something that is like a mirror world on our phones, so it's something that's layered onto our actual lives. That's the most powerful use case. But the only problem is that kind of glasses, it's going to take a bit of time. It's not going to come very soon. There's a lot of challenges, optics, waveguides, battery power, getting into that light form factor. All of that's going to take a lot of time. That's why big tech giants like Facebook, they're spending $10 billion a year in this year. Imagine that's like insane amounts of capital just to get this kind of technology ready for mainstream. So it's going to take a lot of time till we get to that point actually. So because of that, I think that like from a developer perspective, I think there are two ways to go about preparing to build AR apps. One, you could actually use the 3,000 pound HoloLens, enterprise AR devices that's already out there, and develop for that. Let's say like build enterprise AR applications, or but that's not something I prefer. I prefer more consumer-oriented stuff. So if you're interested in consumer-oriented stuff, the other thing that you can do that is consumer-ready now is VR applications. So virtual reality. Oculus Quest 2, they're doing really well. They're selling like lots of units. Although the numbers are not public, the software revenue numbers are for some of the studios. So Oculus Quest 2 is doing very well, and it's almost ready for like indie developers to make a good living off of them. So I think if you develop VR applications for that, developing for AR becomes much easier, because AR, if you think about it, is just VR minus the background. So whatever you experience in VR, take away the background and replace it with reality, that's AR. Simple as that. So in that sense, I believe like building VR applications is a great way to practice building AR for the true glasses when it comes out. And the third option would be to build, obviously, for mobile AR, which is what I do mostly. And that, it might not be like fully mappable to that actual glasses, because mobile, the user interface is mainly 2D, but you could still play around with the AR displays in mobile. And one of the main challenges of AR VR is the user interface and the user experience, so you can't really practice that bit in mobile AR. So that's one of the limitations, but other than that, mobile is what we all have now, so it's just better to, in terms of business-wise, I think it has more potential to sell for the moment. That's my view on it. So, as compared to, so that's phone. So in summary, like 3 ways to learn AR, VR, in my opinion. Mobile AR, building a VR application, because AR is actually just VR minus the background. And third would be the enterprise AR devices like HoloLens or stuff like that. And which one are you interested in, Sparsh? Hopefully you'll say mobile AR, because then I can point you to different channels that do that. And which one are you interested in, Sparsh? Hopefully you'll say mobile AR, because then I can point you. Yeah, Satara, no comments on that. Thanks, Nikhil. It answers my question very well explained. Nilesh, you're welcome. And Rajat Sharma. Oh, I love this question. In fact, I was actually going to make a video on that. It's just I didn't get time on it yet. So, prepare for Meta. I'm confused, like where am I? The timer is off as well. You know what? Actually, can you guys actually comment and tell me if you're actually working on something now, like in your own projects, and you would like to go on with this Pomodoro timer and the study session as was planned? Because if you're not, I'm actually quite happy to continue just discussing AR for like say 30 minutes and then closing the show and then doing work separately, because I think doing work now and in between breaks discussing that just might be too a long-winded way of achieving what we want. So just comment below if you would actually prefer to do Pomodoro timers with me or just discuss AR and stuff, and I'll take it. And if there's no comments, I'll just assume you're fine with the Pomodoro sessions. So the final, what skills should I learn to be prepared for Meta? Yeah, Rajat, I love that question, because I was actually going to make a video on that really. And so the final, what skills should I learn to be prepared? Yep. So I was actually going to make a video on that really. What skills? Yep. So if you're still there, Rajat, can you tell me like what's your background? Are you an app developer? Are you a web developer? Or are you what programming languages do you know? or are you just a complete beginner, like you're new to programming? If you can tell me that, I could tailor my answers more specific to your need, rather than just give a generic, this is what you should learn. Are you still there, Rajat? Sparsh, thanks Jacob for sharing your take. Man, you made it sound so formal. I'm Nikhil, you can just call me Nikhil. No problem, it's a pleasure. Can you share some resources for AR VR development? So Rajat, like, I'm just gonna answer Sparsh's question now, but if you're back, just tell me like what your background is, and once you tell me that, I can answer specifically for that, because I love that question. So Sparsh, you were saying, can you share some resources for learning AR VR development? I see. And Uday, you're also saying, I too want to learn, but I'm a beginner. So it's the same question. Actually, Rajat, I think your question is the same as well. So three of you are asking the same question. What should I learn to learn? What skills should I have to prepare for the metaverse? And what are some resources to learn these? Some books, courses, whatever. So I'm just going to bundle all that into this single question. I'll start with what skills. Firstly, 3D programming. 3D programming, I mean learning to build. You need to learn how to build spatial apps. So you need to learn, how to move a 3D model in the real world, add some physics to it, have some interactions, collisions, basically all the skills that you need to make a 2D game today or a 3D game today on a phone, say using Unity. That's very similar to the kind of skills that you need for AR VR. So for example, the Unity programming game engine is a great example of the IDE that you need to build games. And you could use Unity as well to build AR VR. So Unity is a great place to start. And the good thing about Unity is you could build cross-platform apps with it. So you could target both Android and iOS if you build on Unity. And most of the AR VR frameworks, like Oculus, Lightship SDK, all that, they have support for Unity. So you won't go wrong with Unity. And you could build good experiences with Unity. And if you want to learn Unity, you would need to know the C# programming language. So Unity plus C#, and some examples of frameworks that you could use in Unity to build AR VR is AR Foundation. So AR Foundation is a great wrapper around ARKit and AR Core, meaning you could target both platforms with AR Foundation. And with AR Foundation, basically you can do anything you want. So Unity is a great skill I would recommend to have right now to prepare for the metaverse. But I know Unity myself. I've built a game using Unity, which will soon be published. But for me, a more interesting skill to learn would be learning to build Apple apps, and more specifically Apple AR apps. Because if you could build that natively using Xcode, Swift, the Swift programming language, and Apple's own reality kit frameworks, imagine when the Apple glasses comes out, or the Apple VR devices comes out. It's going to be pretty exciting, because you're going to be one of the very few people who could build native AR VR apps for Apple. And because Apple's such a tightly integrated, neat little ecosystem, the learning curve is surprisingly less steeper, because you could just focus on one platform instead of worrying about all. So that's another skill. In short, my answer is, you need to learn how to build 3D spatial apps for the metaverse, and for that, Unity and the reality AR frameworks are the way to go. And if you're a programmer, right? But if you're a 3D designer, it will be something else. So if you're a 3D designer, you could focus on building the 3D models and 3D worlds and all that. And then for the programming bit, either you could partner with someone, or you could use no-code tools. So there are plenty of no-code tools to build AR stuff. Examples are Lens Studio for the Snap platform. Then there is Spark AR for Facebook AR filters, and then there is there's also one more. a recently released one actually. If you have a VR headset, there's something called Shape XR, if I remember right, and it's a great way to actually build an entire VR prototype, an entire VR experience in VR itself. So with your hands, you move things around and add some game logic and stuff. So there are plenty of ways, plenty of skills to go about it. I hope that's answered the skills bit of the question. And then, what resources do you have to learn these skills? So I think the best way to answer this is simply talking about my own experience, how I learned it. So for me, like I said, I was focusing on Apple AR with a little bit of background learning for Unity as well, just to build an app. So to learn Apple AR, the first thing I did was I learned to learn Apple AR, to build Apple AR apps. The first step I needed to do was learn how to build an Apple app by itself, an iOS app itself. So first thing I learned was learn iOS development. That was step number one. And to learn iOS development, I took a great course called the Complete iOS Developer Bootcamp. It's by Angela Yu in Udemy, and it was like what, 15-20 pounds, but it paid off. Like it's such a good course. It covers basically everything you need to know about iOS development. So I used that course, went through the whole thing step by step just to learn iOS development. And after I learned iOS development, I started building a couple of iOS apps during the pandemic, and 3 of them I will ship very soon, just to practice, selling apps. And one of them is AR related. So by going through that course, Angela used Complete iOS Development Bootcamp course, and then building my own projects. And when you build your own projects, you'll come across a lot of problems. Then you have to go through like individual Google queried resources to solve that, and you'll learn a lot through that. And then you can move on to the AR bit. And to learn AR, in the Apple case, it's Reality Kit and AR Kit. There are a lot of videos on YouTube, or there's a guy called Max Fraser. He has good articles on Reality Kit, very detailed, very thorough. That's a good way to learn as well. But yeah, again, just have something to build and just learn as you need in real time. So that's for the Apple AR bit. For the Unity bit, for the Unity game engine, to be honest, I didn't take any course, so I just learned along the way. So there's a good channel on YouTube called, what's his name? I forgot. How can I forget? I forgot the name, but he basically has a lot of like succinct 5-minute Unity videos. But just find one of those channels on YouTube and just stick with it and just build and learn alongside. So those are some good resources to learn. And one book that I would really highly recommend you read is The Spatial Web. So if you go to Amazon and type The Spatial Web book, it's a great book to give you a high-level view of what the entire industry is and where it's all headed to. And do watch this. Funnily enough, there's one TV show that actually taught me more than the Metaverse than anything else. It's called Upload. If you have Amazon Prime account, you can watch it on Amazon Prime. Just watch the entire TV series. You'll get a lot of ideas on what this entire Metaverse will eventually look like. So in short, Angela's iOS development course, plus Max Fraser's articles for Apple AR, and YouTube for Unity game engine, the resources that you need to know. Such a long answer. What else? Yep, that's no more questions. Will IIT Madras VR diploma be useful? I know IIT Madras is a great, legendary university in India. So I'm not particularly sure on what their VR diploma course is or what it's about or anything. But can you hear that sound? So that's actually the ice cream. The ice cream guy comes near our street, and whenever he comes, he makes a loud announcement, so all the kids come and buy ice cream. So it's the ice cream announcement that you heard. I'm tempted, but I think I have to be in the live stream. So will IIT Madras VR diploma be useful? Like I said, I have no clue what the diploma is specifically about. I've not looked at the details. I just know IIT Madras is a good university. But uh, but in general, on a high level view, I think degrees for learning AR VR is not useful because it's a fast-paced, fast-changing industry. The frameworks you use today will change day after tomorrow. I mean, that's exaggeration, but like in a couple of months' time. For that, like the best way to show an employer or like thrive for yourself in building your own apps is simply to have a portfolio of apps. Have a website, have a personal website, market yourself, and have below like all the apps that you worked on. And hopefully if they've received good reviews and good ratings, even better. Nothing's more powerful than that to show an employer that you know what you're doing. Because people these days, at least in the area where I'm living, that's what they care about more than anything else. Like I've got a PhD, I'm not talking clueless here. I've got a PhD in brain-computer interfacing, and don't get me wrong, like a lot of useful stuff I learned through the PhD, like abstract level, like how to think critically, how to write well, how to project manage, stuff, innovate, stuff like that. But recently, I've gotten into freelance work, and the clients I've had 2 clients so far, and both of them they hired me based on my YouTube channel. Trust me, it was all AR related, and they hired me because they saw my YouTube videos, and I think that's what built confidence in them, and that's what worked. So my short answer is, instead of IIT Madras or college degrees, or seeing college degrees as a pedestal or the only passport to get in here, I would argue that a more valid passport to get into this industry or break into or thrive here is to have a portfolio of some sort, a powerful portfolio of some sort. So either it could be through you documenting your own journey and learning it online through blogs or videos, that's what I'm doing, or it could be actual apps that you have published that have done well. Both of them work because they show that you care about the industry, and more importantly, they show you can actually code and build and publish. Yeah, so that's my strong conviction. Like, don't see universities or degrees, even though it's IIT Madras or Harvard or Oxford, don't see them on a pedestal. It's just simply a banner or a social proof, or kind of like a title. Much more important is your portfolio and what you can do. Sparsh, yeah. No, that was Uday's question. Will IIT Madras be useful? It's online. It has an online collaboration with a Japanese company. Like I said, I don't know the details on what they do, but if it's very practice oriented, and that reminds me of one thing. One value you have in universities, which you can't get by learning on yourself, is the network that you build. So if you say like they have a collaboration with a Japanese company, and you get to work on a project that the Japanese company is actively involved in, and you get to work with their team members, learn from experts there, and build some connections, build a strong network with people who are influential in the AR industry, that's well worth the degree, I would argue. So the network that you can build while you're in that degree, if there's a strong one, and if it's like very practice-oriented degree, which is what you're hinting at, then I think it is useful. But if it's simply a degree where you just consume, go home and do your own thing, no, it's not useful. Sparsh, thanks a lot. My pleasure. Oh. Anybody else? I need to take a break because I've talked a lot, and I'm not a natural talker, so I need to recharge a bit. Thanks, sir. No problem, Uday. And one of the things I've noticed is a lot of you in the comments, they refer to me as sir, and I feel privileged and I feel honored when you say that. But you don't have to. You can just call me Nikhil. I'm just one of you guys. I'm not a professor or anything. Do you work at IITM? No, do you mean IITMK? Oh, how do you know that? Oh, you probably looked at my LinkedIn profile. I've done it. No, I don't work there. I've done my internship there a couple of 4 years back. I did my internship there in IITMK Kerala, if that's what you're referring to. And it was awesome. It was awesome in every sense. Yeah, I got to build. So the work I did there was I built an IoT powered aquaponics system to be usable in your home. So a simple little setup in your home where you can farm using your app, your smartphone. So good for busy people who travel a lot and who just wants to grow some homegrown food. And funnily enough, yeah, I thought you saw my LinkedIn. So funnily enough, it's a great story I wanted to share. It's a great lesson I learned on resourcefulness. It stuck with me throughout ever since that internship. So during that internship, I had to build this aquaponics system, right? Like IoT powered aquaponics system. So I needed some raw materials for that. And in Kerala, it's not like in the UK. In UK, like everything, it's much quicker. You could go to Amazon, type something, have that delivered next day. In Kerala, it's a bit more challenging to get the resources you need. So what I had to do was I had to go through one of those, street markets, and I spent a whole day like jumping from street market to street market to street market, and just collecting these like individual resources from like this really corner shop kind of places, like 5 rupees, 10 rupees for a plastic, and I had to actually go to a factory, so I needed some tubes to build the system, to build the bit where the water is transported from the fish to the plants. So I needed some tubes for that, and I couldn't find it in any stores, so I had to actually go into a factory where they didn't sell any stuff, and I actually went to the basement in the factory and I randomly talked to like employees there to help me connect to like whoever is the decision maker there, and actually one of them did. And talking to the manager there, I asked him like, can you please give me one of your waste bars, because they got a lot of waste bars lying around, and I somehow managed to convince him to give me one of those waste bars, so that worked. But the whole point was like being resourceful in that scenario and spending that whole day collecting this like very simple set of resources. And eventually I used that to build the system, and eventually that whole thing I published in a conference in Cambridge, something that I literally hacked away through jugaad, I would say. That's the Indian word for it. And I published in a conference in Cambridge, and that was one of the few papers I had when I applied for my PhD, which helped because I had a paper published. So yeah, a lesson that I learned then that really stuck with me was no matter what situation you are in, if you're resourceful, you can get stuff done, and you got to think big and do big stuff. It works. Anyways, I think I kind of backtracked there, but yeah, I have a lot of memories on IIT MK, wonderful memories. I loved my time there. Do you work there, or how do you know the place, or have you been there, or? Do you work there, or how do you know the place, or have you been there? Hello? Uday, you're still there? The YouTube delay. No. Oh, cool. I think I just gave a very long answer in a story, assuming that you worked there or you knew someone there. Anyways, now you know the place. Now you know what it's like, and now you could consider doing an internship there. Upcoming student at NIT, wonderful. NIT is a great place. My mom did her degree there, so that's how I know NIT. What else could we talk about? Anybody have some AR, VR related question? If not, I'll go into some of the stuff that I have in my mind. If you don't have any topics to bring about. Right, so the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room. Can we guess what it is? It is Facebook announcing its brand identity as Meta. That is insane. That was huge. You can think of it's like we're all on a giant bus, and whoever's driving the bus has made a really sharp U-turn, and that's going to turn a lot of wheels. This cause a lot of hype, which is good and bad, but it's good mostly. but it's a big announcement. It's a big announcement by a big tech company telling that this is the future and we're willing to bank our identity on it. This is where we're going. We have set the flag, and it's not going to happen soon. They're very clear about it. It's like 5 to 10 year thing, but that's where the entire computing world is headed to. And if big tech companies like this are making public announcements, us small indie people trying to make a living off a creator economy or build our own apps, stuff like that, we need to take note of this, because it tells us that this is the time that we need to start learning, preparing, and getting ready. Because when the wave rises, right, when you want to be in a position where you are comfortable building anything that you have in your mind. You can just build it. You want to be in that position when the wave starts rising, because that will lift you up. And it's a leverage that nature, in this sense, Facebook has provided. So you need to build leverage, and building leverage takes time, but once you have it, it's powerful. It would let you do so many things with very little effort. So that's what excited me most about Facebook's Meta announcement. It gave me more confidence in the fact that this is the direction I'm heading at, preparing for. Is well worth the effort. To give you a very, very simple, small-scale example, right? If I showed you my analytics, so my subscriber counts, it's still not like, I don't have like millions of subscribers or anything. But I saw like a day after Facebook announced Meta, my subscriber count became like 100 subscribers per month. Before it was like 60 or 50. But after Facebook made the announcement, it went to like 100 subscribers per month over the last month. And the views, the watch time, everything reflected that. And it's not because I posted more videos or anything. It's simply because there was a big giant that made some announcement, that made some waves in the industry. And more people are curious now to learn about it. And they're probably checking out YouTube, AR related stuff. And me and a few other channels, we're coming on top because we've been preparing for it for quite a while. And this is a small scale example of what the rising with the tide would look like when it actually happens 5-10 years down the line, when the metaverse becomes the internet of today. If you're prepared now, whether it's through channels or audiences or products you build, you're going to see your efforts pay off like 10-20 times more, simply because you're riding on a wave that's rising. And when that wave comes, right, there'll be a lot of people. And you know, like most of you are Indian, I guess, right? And if you're, this is how I would recommend you try to detect the wave coming, right? The moment your relatives, your uncles or aunts, or the general social public, the moment they start forcing their kids or telling their kids, instead of becoming engineers, you should become like AR, VR developers. The moment the conversation starts revolving around that kind of topic, you know that you've missed the tide. Because the moment it becomes that it distilled in the culture, you know that you missed the wave, you missed the tide. It's too late, because now everyone's trying to get there. Everyone's trying to learn now. Everyone's trying to build now, because that's the big thing now. But what you want to do is you want to be prepared before all that happens, like 4 years before that. Because when that time comes, you want to be one of the experts, not a beginner then. You can be a beginner now and learn, but by then you want to be an expert. So that line of thought is what excited me most about Facebook's Meta announcement than anything else. And the second line of thought that really excited me was Facebook's approach to it as a company, right? Facebook's approach, if I would just sum in one line, is apps today, AR tomorrow. Not AR, simply AR, VR, or Metaverse tomorrow. So you can think of it like that. They're thinking apps today, AR, VR tomorrow. What they're thinking is like, they can't get rid of Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or anything. They can't just throw all that away and start building the Metaverse and just depending on that solely, because it's not there yet. So they still have their eyes on apps today, but they still have one eye towards the future, and they're preparing for the AR, VR today. And that line of thought was super exciting to me, because that's how I believe how we should, as developers or individuals, consider the future as well. We should not just blindly jump into AR, VR and just put all our eggs there today. Like that'll be a pretty dumb move, in my opinion. I mean, you could do that if you found a niche and stuff, but I think a better move is focus on today, what works today, like apps, for example, or AR apps, even better. but at the same time have an eye towards the future and build towards that, build side projects towards that. And if one of the side projects flies off, yeah, then go full focus on that. But just don't jump into that future all eyes in, like get a degree on that, PhD on that, without forgetting what's working today. You always need to be on the same level as the market. You can't be too early, or else it doesn't work. That's my view on it. So me myself, that's how I'm preparing, right? Like I have my eyes on today, the freelance work that I'm doing. I'm marketing myself as an iOS developer with an expertise in augmented reality. So that way, people hire me for iOS development work, but a lot of people hire me for Apple AR works as well. So building AR apps for the Apple ecosystem. So having my eyes on apps today with AR tomorrow, I'm building my expertise and freelance client list through that. But at the same time, I'm building skills and leverage for the future. So in short, I think that kind of thinking is powerful, that Facebook is using. Apps today, AR tomorrow. Wow, that's a lot of you guys today. Last time I did a live stream, it was more slow paced, so I had more time to catch my breath. So Rayhan, you're asking what distinguishes the game dev and AR VR development, since I think they both work with Unity. So Rayhan, you're asking what distinguishes the game dev and AR VR development, since yes, yeah. So it's the same skill sets. Like I said before, it's absolutely the same skill set. 3D programming. Game engines like Unity, you're building a 3D game. You're dealing with 3D models, collisions, physics, moving things around, adding game logic. All that stuff is very, very similar to AR VR development. The only difference would be in the user interface and user experience. So when you're building a game in Unity, the user interface is 2D, so the buttons, the buttons and the controls and all, it will be 2D elements, UI elements. But AR VR, you have to be more creative. It can't be just a 2D flat map, right? That's not interesting. It has to be more immersed in the environment. It has to be spatially oriented. And it could be like not a screen, it could be something entirely new. Maybe a ball in the sky where you look at and the whole environment changes. Could be example of a simple moment in the user experience. So user experience and user interface design in AR VR will be completely different, and it's a completely new field. So that's the only thing that is significantly different between game development, the traditional way, in my opinion. So yeah, if you know Unity and if you're game dev, you're very well positioned to build for AR VR, but you would need to do some new UI UX stuff. And one more thing left, I forgot. The AR VR, you need to worry more about the frame rate and stuff, because you need to make your app more computationally peaceable, if that's a word, computationally simple for the device that you're using. So, for example, if you're using an Oculus Quest headset, it's pretty powerful. But if you're running on a phone, then you want to make sure the 3D stuff is not that not a lot of high polygon 3D vids. High poly 3D models, because the processing power is limited, and if the frame rate is too low, then the user will start experience dizziness and stuff, and that could completely destroy the experience and they will delete your app. So you need to worry about more of that kind of stuff, at least for now, until those powerful devices come out. So user experience, frame rates, stuff like this, nuances, these are new stuff that comes out with AR VR development. And that's what I'm aware of so far. There might be a lot more, and you would only know once you start building for it. So Ren, I would recommend just build one of those, and whatever new things you find, just report back, and maybe do a live stream on your channel, and I'll join and ask you what are the new stuff that you learned, because I would love to know. Oof, I'm drinking with yeah. Maybe do a live stream on your channel, and I'll join. Mhm. Yeah. Are you guys actually interested in you know those those live streams where you can have actually people not just ask on the chat but instead come live on like video, and so one of you guys can like, just come live on the video and we'll start discussing. So that's more real time and easier for me to get a conversation flowing. If you're interested in one of those, like I could host a session soon, maybe next week, doing that. It'll be like a podcast really, but with multiple of you guys who want to jump in. I want to ask you guys one thing, right? Like, are you guys more okay? Are you guys more interested in the programming aspect of AR VR? Like, you want to just build some cool stuff, or are you actually interested in, say, are you a creator? Are you an entrepreneur and you're interested in finding the latest fad and then building something for it, or do you have a bit of both? So to put the question succinctly, are you a programmer at heart? Are you an entrepreneur at heart? Or are you an entrepreneurial programmer? If that makes sense. Are you a programmer at heart? Are you an entrepreneur at heart? That makes sense. Oh, there's a lot of delay here. Hello, 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 hello. Hi, Santosh. Good to see you again. One of my favorites, because I love people who I keep seeing again and again during the videos and comments again and again. So Santosh, like, throw in a topic, man. Like, throw in a topic that you would like to discuss, and we could take off from there. Uday Kumar, so you're saying you're an entrepreneur? Oh, interesting. Entrepreneur at heart. You know the funny thing? I started the channel assuming that most people would be interested in the programming aspect of things. That's why, if you notice, most of my initial videos are tutorials, coding tutorials. But lately, like since a few months back, I started getting a lot of emails related to the entrepreneurial side of things. So people asking like, can you join in the startup that I'm building or stuff like that. So it seems like most people, a lot of people are interested in the entrepreneurial aspect. And Uday, like you said, you're an entrepreneur, and are you an entrepreneur who codes, or are you more like the designer, the ideas kind of guy? And Santosh, oh my God, you caught me there, man. I know. I'm not making, to be honest, that's one thing I'm not proud of at all, because I made a commitment of uploading a video a week, and for the last few months it's been very infrequent. And so what happened was, a couple of like 3-4 months back, I got COVID. So I caught COVID, and I caught COVID very hard. Like, I was bed struck for 1 month and got to points where I could not breathe anymore, or it was really intense. It was one of the hardest times of my life, but it was great in the mental advancement sense, but it was hard. So that meant I could not make videos during that month because I could not breathe, and because of that, that kind of like disrupted the flow, the momentum. And after that, really, I don't have an excuse, because it's not like I was super sick or anything, and it's just that momentum broke, and I'm trying to build that momentum back up again, and I'm gonna get back to that momentum where I upload one a week. That is the goal. But you're right, I'm not been making videos regularly. And what am I doing these days? So these days, 2 weeks back, I officially finished my PhD, got my new visa here in the UK. So this visa is something I've been waiting for a long time, because this allows you to do business activity, which the previous one did. So these days I'm doing two things. So if you watch my financial freedom plan for my in one of my videos, I'm taking action on that. So as a base, I'm building up a freelance career to start with. So the freelance bit I started last week, and it was quite intense. I got my first few clients, so that's good. And so and it's all AR related actually, both. So I'm building my freelance AR iOS related client base and work portfolio there. So while I'm doing that, you can think of that as my day job, my income source. And while I'm doing that, my freelance work, iOS AR work, I'm also on the side trying to publish 3 apps that I've been working on for quite a while. So the first app is it's like a simple minimalistic reminders app of your favorite thoughts. So it's like a Tinder style app where you could store your own favorite thoughts or quotes as they occur, and then set regular reminders for you throughout the day so that you'll be reminded of what matters to you most. So for me personally, that kind of stuff is very powerful because there are a lot of wonderful, precious thoughts that comes in, like, serendipitous moments, and they just get lost. You never remember it. And I wanted to make this minimalistic, beautiful app so that I could just store it as they come, and then just set regular reminders for me throughout the week, throughout the day, so that I could just get reminded of that. And the second one's a spatial AR app, which I'll keep secret for now, but once they comes out, I'll let you know. And then the third app is a couple of games, and these games are games where the longer you play, the more relaxed you become, and it has some bits of my PhD knowledge that I used to make this. So you can call it neuro games, brain influencing games. So these 3 are my first product launches, if you want to put it that way. And these 3 I'm seeing as experiments, as a solo experiment. I'm going to publish them, learn a lot about ad marketing, selling things, writing the right copy, maybe ads, and see how far I can go, how many downloads I can make off it, how much money I can make off it. But my eventual goal is to, freelance products, audience-based business, and then come AR era, build the big stuff. So I'm much of on a learning journey and experimenting with the entrepreneurial side of things while making a living off freelance work, and see where things goes. And my idea for the YouTube channel was like, I will document various bits and pieces, threads of learnings from these experiences as videos on the YouTube channel. But it's just, I need to get back. Like, I need to build a system in my life where I could say spend my morning 2 hours just focusing on the videos and doing. So if you've not made videos before, just to give you a heads up, to make a single video, from research to recording to editing to polishing to doing keyword, description, title, thumbnail, all that, and publishing, all of that in the beginning, when I first started out last year, it used to take like about 12-16 hours. It takes a lot of time for just one video. But once you get used to it, once you get to the rhythm, nowadays it takes like 4-6 hours. So I really have no excuse not to publish one a week, but it's just not. I've lost the rhythm and I need to get back. So do remind me, Santosh, like when I get lost, I need some calling out like you did. Now making new videos. You ask why don't you upload that videos here? That's so interesting. So that is exactly what I would love to do. Can I ask you one thing? Right now a lot of my videos are, at least the latest videos are, you can see it's more polished, it's more edited, it's more a lot of B-rolls and stuff. Would you be actually interested in raw live videos, like not edited, but just a quick like 5-minute update on my phone camera? Maybe I'll be out on the street and I'll just update on one single learning I've learned, like a quick raw behind the scenes kind of style, unedited. Would you prefer that, or would you prefer like a polished, edited video that's more enjoyable to watch? Because the first one would be easier for me to make regularly and update as you go. The second one's harder, but I believe it's more valuable for a wider number of people. So yeah, Santosh, like what do you think? Yeah, of course, as in the second one or the first one? Kartikeya Singh. Kartikeya, I recall your name as well. I think you comment quite often as well, right? Great to see you. And No, Karthik, I think you're the one who messaged me on Instagram, right? On the nursing stuff. No, you asked me about the college degree. Yes, I remember that. Yes, you messaged me on Insta asking about the college degree stuff, the resources. Yeah, I remember. It was Nayant who asked about the HoloLens stuff. So, Uday, thanks, man. That's absolutely great to know that you need content which is useful, not interested in editing. Uh, but editing increases audience, which is the harsh truth, and which is something that I guess I just have to suck up and come to terms with. A highly polished videos is better for a wider number of people. But I guess like word from Santosh, like Santosh Uday, you guys are saying like it's better to have that useful live reportings. So I guess I'll do a mixture of both. On days where I'm really busy, I'll just make a live raw edited video like this, sort of like what I'm doing, a shorter one to report information. And then when I have time, I'll make like polished videos to, for the scale stuff. I think that's the best way to go. But if you ask me, okay, Kartik, I'm gonna come back to your question in a minute, right? Let me just. But if you ask me, news and update are easily available. But if you make videos on any project, will be very kind and lots of people come here for that. But if you ask me, news and update are very easily available. But if you make videos and any project, so are you, Santosh? Are you saying that make? Are you talking about like to say I'm building apps and publishing it and trying to make money and market it off that, right? So are you saying like it will be more useful for me to document that journey and make videos on that? Is that what you mean by videos on any project that's useful, or do you mean like making coding tutorials, on how to build a project? And is that what you're referring to? Can you clarify on that? I'm curious. So yes, by yes you mean the first one, right? Like document the journey of making and selling an app. Is that what you're meaning? Is that what you said yes for? And Karthike, you were asking. Let me get to your question. I need to think. But I'm second year CS undergrad. How can I learn AR and start freelance? Is there clients for AR VR service? Very, very interesting question. That is a question that I was grappling with like just a few months back when I was preparing. God, these are happening fast. I need to switch between comments. So you're saying yes, that will be beneficial. Okay. Okay, that's great to know. So you guys are saying documenting the journey of building an app and selling, marketing it will be very useful. Yeah, you're right, because that's kind of like behind the scenes. Not many people report on that. Okay, so if that's what you're saying, that's what you're assuming, I'm glad to hear that, because that's what I really wanted to do. That's what excites me most as well, because that's what I'm working on now. So I will actually do that. I will report live the journey. I'll document the journey, the story. I won't hide anything. I will tell you if I make $0. I'll tell you if I did crap marketing or if I did great marketing. I'll share the techniques on what works. Okay, Karthike, let me get to your question deep, because that's a very. I need a sip first, because that's a question I was grappling with and doubting a lot over a couple of months back, actually, because I'm doing freelance now. God. I need to practice I wish I had more social energy, because I run out of energy when I talk a lot. I'm a lone wolf in that sense. So okay, I'm gonna answer Kartike's question first, because it's been there for a while. Oh, learned freelance, yeah. So first I'll answer the bit about, is there clients for AR VR services, right? First when I was first thinking about this and preparing for this, I thought that the the answer would be not a lot, because not many people have AR VR devices yet. So obviously the number of studios or companies who want to make AR VR have to be smaller, right? And that means demand would be lower as well. That's the thinking that I had before. But so that's why when I sell my services, I market myself primarily as an iOS developer targeting apps, and then on the side as expertise in AR for Apple specifically. But what I noticed is so far, I mean, I'm literally 1 week into it, right? So maybe next video I can give a more robust and experience-based answer. But so far, I've not applied to any jobs, but I've gotten 5 invites to do client work. And out of those 5, 2 were for, so one was for some general like interview style, workshop, focus group. The other one was to build an iOS app. And the other 3 was augmented reality related. So completely AR related, pure AR, and a bit of machine learning. So, and just in general, what I've noticed too is there's a lot of small companies, small businesses, startups and stuff. A lot of them really interested in like Metaverse related projects. So they are either VR projects, AR projects, NFT projects. You see a lot of them floating around lately. And that kind of makes sense now, because you think that it's a new wave. So all the small, lean, startup-y kind of businesses, that's the kind of thing that they want to target. And they'll have a lot of projects advertised for that. And the good thing is there'll be less number of projects out there, but you can see there will also be much lesser people who are prepared to build for that. Because most people are skilled in web development or app development. Very few people will be skilled in XR development or Metaverse development. So in that sense, the pool is smaller, but so are the number of fishes in the pool, in the sea. So in that sense, so far my intuition is it is actually a good niche to jump in even now, because of the limited number of people who could build for that. So that kind of nicheness has its own advantage, and for me, that's what I'm figuring out now actually. So let's see how far it goes, and let's see if most of my clients would be completely AR related. That would be interesting. But I have to clarify on that. So okay, this is gonna jump into the first bit of your question, right? Like, what can I do to learn AR and start freelancing? So, but I have to clarify on that. So okay, this is gonna. I'm assuming you know a bit of programming. If you know a bit of programming, my immediate thing is, before anything else, think about an app that you want to build. Think either like clone or make something similar to what's out there. Innovate a bit for yourself, but think about a simple app that you think you could make in 1 month or 2 months. And then take courses, watch YouTube videos, go to forums, gather the stuff that you need in real time to build that app. Once you build that first app, and while you're building that app, put out blogs, put out tweets, put out videos like I do. Just choose one medium, but just document that journey. Like, make videos, market yourself, and make it nice. Market yourself nice. Don't just do a random rubbish video. Add some value. If you do both, build an app, and by the time that you have the app built, you'll have a pool of content online, whether it's articles, videos, or tweets, whatever, that is supplementing that app. That is, nothing can get more powerful than that for freelance work, because what happens is, once you're end of the 2 months, you can make a website, say, advertising your services, and you can say, you have this app built, show that app. And then you could also say, look, I've got a bunch of articles if you're interested in more stuff. And whoever the client is, like, think about from the client perspective. They're browsing, they need someone to make an AR app. They see, okay, oh look, this guy, he has actually made an app on that. Great. And even better, look at all his videos. I can see what he thinks about it. Oh, I can actually see he can code. He's doing it live. And also in video, you notice one other thing is that you can form a deeper connection to the viewer. And it's very powerful. And this one I'm speaking from experience, right? I'm absolutely speaking from experience. I've been making videos, putting out content for 1 whole year. And I've got, trust me, I've got like, I would not say hundreds, but tens of, multiple tens of requests from people asking me to build stuff or join their startup or join their company, stuff like that. and every single one is through the videos, nothing but the videos. People watch the video, they like one aspect of it, and even the jobs some of the jobs I have now lately, they found me through the videos. They saw my coding videos, they knew I could do it, and they hired me. So my point is, if you want to do freelance in AR, VR, don't just think about the coding, the degree, the technical aspect of things. Focus on building something and documenting it online for people to see it. If you can do both, build, document, or build and sell the same thing, and show people that you can do it in a neat, value-adding way, people will. I mean, I won't guarantee, but I would say the probability of you making it increases tenfold. Because most other people, what they do is they just focus on a degree, the course, the technical, the code, the syntax, and they don't even build products. They just, take courses after courses after course, but from client perspective, they don't care. They just want confidence that you can do something that they want you to do, and you need to be able to communicate that. And having an online presence with the portfolio to show is the most powerful way to do that. So that's my thoughts on it, definitely. So yeah, Karthike, I hope that answers your question. And I'm sorry, man, if I didn't answer your respond to your thing on Instagram. Like, genuinely, it's not because I don't have. It's not because I'm like pompous or hard to get, stuff like that. It's genuinely because I've been so immersed in like the client work and the apps and stuff. So it's just like it's taking away all my attention, and it's just hard to keep up with everything. That's why video count is going low as well. So glad you came back and asked here, because now I could live interact with you. No problem, man. And please stop calling me sir. I don't like that. I mean, I like that. It feeds my ego, but it's not good for traveler kind of vibe that I would like to give off of this channel. In this channel, we're going together to this great city called the Metaverse, and we are both learning and documenting and sharing, and we're gonna get there. And we're not only get there, we're gonna thrive there. So if you call me sir, I feel like I'm kind of like, a professor or stuff like that. Yeah, so just call me Nikhil. Yeah. Even though, okay, wow, I love these, so many things. Okay, Santosh, I'm gonna come back to you, man, because this is something I need to know, really. So you're saying about programming videos, you want more programming tutorials, specifically. So you want to know how to build an app from scratch, code, and the marketing aspects and everything of it, not just a simple live, hey, here, this is what I learned about marketing. Apps for optimization, you have to use keywords, stuff like that. You want a hands-on video, right? That's what you're thinking of. Like, this is the code. Okay, now the code is done. Now let's go on to Google search. Let's do the keyword research, like the entire stack, essentially. That's what I'm assuming. Please clarify. Yes, okay, I thought so. Thanks, man. I think that'll be a bit more challenging. That'll be a bit more time-consuming on my side, but I will try to get there. I can understand why that will add value, because you get to see the whole thing live. Yep, got it. In fact, I could actually think about a series for that, like Building X, episode 1, and episode 1 is the code, episode 2 is the selling bit, episode 3 is the problems faced. Yeah, I think I'll actually think about making a series on this. That'll be interesting. Sang Tan, hello again, man. Again, not sir, Nikhil. Call me Nikhil. Sang, like, ask me any questions. Hello is great, but a question is better. And even better is a thought you have, an interesting thought you would have on the Metaverse, the coming era, and what you are doing to prepare for it. I would love to hear that. So Sang, do pop in, man. Karthike, right. My breath is, I need to breathe a bit. So, Karthike, you're saying, Jayant, great to see you as well, man. I'm gonna get to you soon. Let me just go there. I remember you, Jayant, from the comments as well. Regular commenter, I love it. So Karthika, you're saying, I know Java programming and mobile app development with Flutter. Flutter. Yeah, Flutter is like, I've never tried Flutter, but it was like, there was a lot of hype around it a few years back, right? When Google announced it and the whole React Native versus Flutter kind of debate. And I've not tried neither of them. But you say you know Java programming and mobile app development with Flutter. That's a great start, actually. So you're more on the app slash client side of things. Definitely not the back end. You're on the front end. And if you know Java and if you know Flutter, I'm not aware of any frameworks, AR frameworks that's tied into Flutter. There might be. Just Google and check. But I know React Native, which is the competitor to Flutter. They have a framework called React Viro, which actually one of you guys from my channel pointed out, which I looked at. It was pretty cool. So React Viro, with React Viro, you can make React Native apps for AR, cross-platform. So something like that might exist for Flutter. Just do a Google search. If you find that, I would recommend making AR, cross-platform AR apps using Flutter natively. So something of utility value that is both 2D but has an AR mode as well, something like that, you know. So the app that I'm making for AR, it can be the productivity app that I'm making on AR, the second one that I'm going to release it. It can be experienced both in 2D and 3D. So try to do something like that, or do anything, innovate. There's no rules here. So if you know Java programming, you can use Android Studio to make native Android apps. So that means you can use AR Core, which is the AR framework for Android. But Java is like the old way to do it. The newer way is Kotlin, which is used to build native Android apps. But you can still build off it. To be honest, more than the programming language is more getting used to building spatial apps, right? So one word answer, what I would recommend is either, if you can find a Flutter AR framework, use that to build a Flutter AR app. If not, make an AR core based app using Java and Android Studio and build something. Build. That's more important than which language. Santosh, you're saying, even I learned few skills on Swift, but not able to make any apps. You know what? Like, trust me on this one. I would just say, like, build apps. Just get started. Think about something. Think about something that has market value, even better. And you better be able to learn the marketing, the coding, and everything that goes with app development if you just build it, because a lot of it doesn't come with the coding tutorials that you saw on YouTube. Just speaking from experience, right? Like when I follow the course and build the projects that people advertise in courses, or even like if you follow one of my videos and build the project there, yeah, you will get a sense of satisfaction thinking, oh yeah, now I know how to build this. I'm pretty good at this stuff, whatever, right? But when I started building an app, like these 3 apps that I'm about to publish now, and making production-ready apps in short, right? You learn like there are a host of different things that you didn't think of, and you realize like that's what really makes app development that complex and hard. Just to give a few examples, bugs in a production-ready apps, everything has to be crystal perfect. You need you have to get rid of most of the bugs that's obviously there in like YouTube apps, if you want to put it that way. But more importantly, there's stuff outside of coding, right? For example, in the App Store, if you want to release Apple apps, it's compulsory to have a privacy policy that is tailored to every single country that you release to. So you need to think about the legal stuff there. Like, are you collecting data from the user? And what kind of forms are you going to have? What kind of, are you compliant to like GDPR, which you need to be if you're selling in the European Union? So there's the legal side of things. Then the marketing side of things, which I'm about to learn and face the harsh reality of, because apps are crowded places. How are you going to market it? Do you have like a tie with an influencer in that specific niche who could just give a shout out, go download the apps? And the more challenging one I recently faced was pricing. Like, how am I going to price it? Like one-off subscription-based in-app purchases, and even coding up the in-app purchases bit and covering the user interface, the onboarding, all that stuff. It really adds up, and it takes a lot of time outside of coding the main project. So my point is, like, if you want to learn like the reality, the actual barrier to entry behind building apps and selling it, you won't learn it from courses or YouTube videos or videos on my channel or someone else's channel. You would need to build something of your own and go through the entire process, from coding to marketing to legals to publishing to building screenshots, everything. and just learn along the way. And once you have that first app published and gone through that hard bit, the next one becomes a bit easier, and then easier, and then easier. And you can just build on top of that. So highly recommend Santosh, man. Just build something. Just get something in your mind and build it. I think so. Okay, I'm gonna go to Giant. Okay, Santosh, yeah, you're right. Something that's definitely missing on YouTube and like courses in general, like covering the complete package and not just the coding thing. So that's a really great point that you guys made in this live video. I'm gonna keep that in mind and try to design content around that. Thanks for that feedback. So Jayanth, I'm gonna finally get to you. So yeah, I remember you, Jayanth, because you were one of the few people who whenever you comment, you always comment related to the you comment from the entrepreneurial angle. Like you are more interested in the entrepreneurial content and stuff, and that's really freshening because that's something that tickles my heart as well. It's not just building but selling too. So yeah, glad you're enjoying the seminar. Yeah, I didn't think of this as a seminar, but I guess it's turning out to be a seminar, right? It's turning out to be a seminar because I got rid of the Pomodoro thing. I'm not working on my own thing anymore. It's just turning into live Q&A. That's how you go with the flow. Karthik, really glad to find you on YouTube. Thank you, sir. Okay, Nikhil. Yeah. Oh yeah, we talked about that. Pleasure. And where are you from, Nikhil? I'm from India, by the way. So I'm gonna throw that question back at you. Where do you think I'm from? A lot of people get that wrong because I've got kind of like a weird accent. I look Indian, but I got a weird accent. So I'm gonna throw that back at you. And if you guess it wrong, I'll tell you where exactly I'm from. But I'm curious to know what you think where I'm from. Yeah. So Jayanth, I'm preparing for a GATE exam to get into IITs in India. I'm preparing for a GATE exam to get into. So how old are you, Jayanth? Are you like, I'm guessing you're 18, 19, 17, like definitely pre-20s, I guess. To get into IITs, I have interest in the area. What should I do? Should I improve my skills, or once I get into college, I can work on that? So the question is like, I'm preparing for a GATE exam to get into IITs in India. So for those of you outside of India, IITs are like the Harvard, Oxford of India. It's like in fact, people have said it's actually much harder the acceptance rate at IITs are much lower than in Harvard. So Harvard, Oxford, you'll get it there much easier than in IITs. And it's because of the population, right? India's like billions population, and competition simply higher because of that. So anyways, that's a great aim, IITs. You're thinking big, which I like. But I have interest in AR here. What should I do? So I'm not going to comment on your aspirations on getting into IIT or which degree or right, that stuff, right? Because I can speak from like my experience is mostly in the West, so I can speak from the value of a degree in the West in AR VR, and I would absolutely say like people prefer portfolios anytime over the degree here in the AR VR space or any app development space really. But if you think getting a degree is useful, then IITs, yeah, prepare for it, go for it. I would be lying to you if I comment with authority saying that, you know, don't do it or do it, because I've not been in that position. I don't know. But one thing, okay, this is one thought I have that I'm pretty confident of. I believe like IITs, Harvards, or Oxfords, in this day and age, the value of the education that you actually get is not really the attraction there. Because you have the internet. You could watch a course from Harvard right now online for free. You could go through YouTube, learn from the best creators on that specific niche that you want to learn. The content's out there. The education content is much more higher quality online rather than in this university. But the value in the university, especially these top-notch universities like Oxford, Harvard, IITs, I think it's mainly the network that you build. So in IITs, every single one of your friends is going to be super hardworking. They're going to be like big thinkers, hard workers, or extremely talented people, because else they wouldn't get into these colleges, right? So just the fact that most of your friends will be like that, it's a huge advantage because you're building a solid network. And also, like, if you, most of the companies will be more willing to hire from there. So if you're going the job route, yeah, this kind of network power will be really valuable to have in that university. And sadly, the other value, which I hate to admit, but unfortunately that's a reality, is the brand equity. So having a degree from IITs or Harvard or Oxford immediately is a social signal telling people or employers that you're top-notch quality. So those things, yeah, that's, I can see the value there. So yeah, if you want to get there, go there. But once you're there, I would do exactly what you referred to in the comment, which is improve your skills on the side. So once you get there, I would just say, build and sell on the side. Build and sell on the side. There's a great, I'm not sure if you guys follow Varun, the guy who wrote Pajama Profit. I think his story, it's a great book, read it if you haven't, Pajama Profit, it's on Amazon. But his story is basically, while he was in college in India, he built a freelance career and he made lots of money on the side while he was learning his degree at university. And then once, immediately after he graduated, he had options. He didn't need to look for a job to build his career. He could just continue on with his freelance. But while he was doing his freelance, and once he got to a stage where he was making enough money to buy back his time, he started jumping off into the startup world. So he didn't just jump off into the startup world blindfolded, without any money or backing. He had a lot of money behind him to support that risk financially. So that's something I would highly recommend you do, Jayant. Like, try to build a freelance career on the side using AR, VR skills that you develop, and then hopefully get into a position in 4 years' time while you're at college where you could build some solid financial base off that, and then you could jump off and take reasonable practical risks and not just jump off like blindly. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. Try to build a simple freelance projects on AR VR while you're at college on the side and build your aspirations of that. Kartike, you're saying, oh my god, it's a lot of comments. Uday, Varun Maya, yeah, that's it. I'm following him for 2 years. Yeah, great. That sounds great. So I didn't actually know Varun. Like, I've not heard of him at all. Actually, one of the people who follow my channel, they commented and mentioned his book on one of my tweets, and that's how I found it out. So it was a great book. I loved his story, and I do follow his channel now as well. So his story is a great example to follow. So wait, let me get back. We can learn, Karthik is saying, we can learn app dev, AR dev, that's not a problem, but marketing ourselves. You know what, that's very true. Marketing, I'm sure a lot of you follow Naval Ravikant, right? Like the the angel list guy on YouTube, in Silicon Valley. His simple line, I think, sums all of this up. If you can build, great. If you can sell, great. But if you can build and sell, you have a superpower. So I understand that marketing skills is the problem, and personally that is the challenge that I'm about to face as well once I start selling these apps. But that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful to just learn life, and we have to think like scientists, right? We have to make different hypotheses on what kind of marketing hacks would work and stuff, and just try different stuff out and learn from it. So marketing skills is definitely useful. And aside from like app marketing, I can share like a few things that was helpful to me in terms of personal brand marketing, that kind of stuff. So over the last 4 years, I was doing my PhD, right? For those of you who don't know, here in Manchester. And I made sure that when I was doing my PhD, I was not just simply, the same philosophy, I was not just simply focusing on building. So my project was brain-computer interfaces. I built a BCI system and finished all that. But while I was building, I made sure I did some selling outside of my building. Not selling products or apps or stuff because my visa doesn't allow you to. But I gave a lot of talks. I got involved in the entrepreneurship community at the university. I gave about 21 different public talks at pubs, at events, at conferences. And a lot of it were invited because after you give one talk, people invite you and they ask you for other stuff. And then I applied for a lot of competitions. I applied to like, I think 8, 9 competitions, failed a lot of them. But in aggregate, through all of that, I won about £20,000 to build up my idea and launch my idea. And through applying to that competitions and getting involved in these entrepreneurial communities, I learned how to write grants. That's how I got all this money. It was very useful. Grant writing skills. It's basically convincing someone to give you money to do something that you want to do. So this market research, why you're the right team, all that stuff. So this is part of marketing, grant writing. Then there's public speaking. Public speaking is, my next video is going to be on public speaking actually. My experiences and my learnings on that. It's absolutely phenomenal skill to have because when you can speak in public with authority, you'll find it a lot more easier to get stuff that you want to get stuff done. Whether it's recruiting talent to work on your ideas with you or getting word out there on who you are and what you do. And that's what made starting this YouTube channel much easier for me because I had this public speaking background. And I'll tell you, my next video is on that story, on how first I used to be like completely afraid of it and what I did to get over it. Because like Warren Buffett said, it is definitely one of those skills that pays dividends on multiple levels. So marketing, yeah, for me marketing, it's in that sense, public speaking and getting yourself out there outside of your technical world will really help. I'll try to go a bit more faster or else I won't get through all of this on time. I'm glad you're waiting for that. At least I know I'll have one view. Yeah, I know. That's what I was scared for a bit. I get it, man, completely. And I'm actually in that video. I'm actually going to show videos of the points where I was, I was in that scared position. And I was shivering. When I was scared, I used to shiver a lot. My body used to shake. And I'm going to go over my exact journey because this is like something I can speak from experience on how I overcame that and the moves that I made, the things that I practiced to get over that. So I'm excited about that video too, coming soon. So, thanks for that, you remember me. Thanks, you. Oh, it's a pleasure, man. Like, I never forget. Like, every time you comment or anyone comments regularly, it sticks in my mind because I love interaction on my channel, on my videos. Karthike, you're saying, I know Unity as well, basic. Can I use AR Foundation? Yes. That's, if you know Unity, and that's the first thing I would recommend, like learn AR Foundation. And I don't have AR Foundation videos on my channel yet, but a great channel would be Dilmer Valesilos. If you check out his channel, he's got plenty of AR Foundation tutorials. So that's a good way to learn. But AR Foundations, if you know Unity, is a good place to go. And even in my freelance work, I saw quite a few clients, they were interested in building Unity using, AR Foundation based apps using Unity. So it might be a good option. Santosh, you're saying, I think Swift is future for iOS and AR, so please start from scratch. I think you can cover the basic in few. I think Swift is future for iOS and AR, so please start from scratch. I think you can cover the basics in a few months, so in upcoming time your channel could be a complete package for people who want to see. Yes, yeah. A complete package, bootcamp sort of stuff. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Uday Kumar, so Kerala. So I'm assuming, okay, so I guess this is the answer to the bit where I asked, which country do you think I'm from? So yes, I'm from Kerala. You're right. I don't know how you figured that out. Probably because I have the IITMK on my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, I'm from Kerala. So I'm from Kerala, India. That's where I grew up in. I'm born in Tiruvalla, to be exact, precise. And to be even more exact and precise, no, I'm not going to give you the location. No, I trust you, so I could. Yeah, I'm from Kerala, but I actually grew up in 4 different countries because of my dad's job. My dad worked in the US, so he traveled to different places for his work, so we jumped along with him. So I grew up in I lived in India for 7 years, Delhi and Kerala, split. Mostly Delhi and a bit in Kerala, 2 years in Kerala. Then I lived 7 years in Thailand, and then about 4 or 5 years in Switzerland, and then came to the UK and been here for like 7 years. So yeah, I'm a bit of a mix, but I would identify more as nowhere but everywhere. Like nowhere feels home, but everywhere feels home as well because of my upbringing. So yeah, and that's a bit of personal stuff. I think you from India, but went to UK. Yeah, so kind of correct. Not yeah. Jan, I'm 21 years old. I've completed my engineering in electronics. Yeah, I think there's a big lag in my questioning and answering. So I've completed my engineering in electronics. Oh, that's the same. That's my same. That's the exact degree I took as well, electronics and communications engineering. And to be honest, I took it because I absolutely didn't know what to do. So it was a completely blind aim back then. I didn't have much clarity on my future back then when I first started my course. But yeah, as an electronics and communications engineer, you'll do a lot of hardware and a bit of software. But during my 3rd year, I quickly made my focus the software by doing a project on brain-computer interfacing, so signal processing, focusing on that, biosignal processing actually. So yeah, you get a bit of programming skills from ECE, but not a lot. Definitely not the solid computer sciencey kind of algorithms, data structure, writing clean code, stuff like that. So you would need to do a lot of self-learning. You can't just use the hackery way of writing code that you learn in ECE for like embedded device and stuff. That's not very useful for building apps anymore. Varun Maya, I'm following him for 2 years. Yep, great guy. Thanks for. I should try like emailing him to come on an interview. It'll be interesting to interview him on the channel. Let's see. Thanks for taking my question. Pleasure, always pleasure. Never a burden. I love questions. I love discussions, especially live ones, because you gotta think in real time and talk. Waiting for a public speaking video, coming soon. Just order Pajama Profits. Again, Varun Maya, you should come to my channel because I give you one sale. Obviously this is not a sponsored video or anything, but I think I'm going to screenshot that comment and write that in my email to lure him into an interview. Yeah, do read that, man. It's really good book. Really good book that I read. It's very simple, easy to understand. It's very good for especially an Indian audience because his advice is all tailored to an Indian college student on pursuing this path. So great for that. You look like a you look like a PhD student. So what bit of me makes me look like a PhD student? Is it the white hair? Is it the beard? Or I'm curious. Can you clarify more? I'm not sure if that's a compliment or I don't know what it is. It's great. 4 countries. Yeah, I know. It's been a wild ride, a multicultural ride. Is he building a VR app? Interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was interested in VR. Really? Like, oh, I'll actually look into it. If actually that's the case, then definitely I would love to email because that would be so relevant. Yeah, I think he's in a position now where he's definitely had a few exits from his startups, and he's in that position that I aim to be in a couple of years' time, where he could be an investor essentially in whatever ideas you care about. You look intelligent. Oh, thank you. That is a compliment. So appreciate that. In his channel, okay. I'm gonna check it out. I didn't actually see it. I'm subscribed to his channel, but I didn't see any view or anything. I'm actually gonna check it out. I'll check. Avalon Meter. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. We'll check it out. Let me just take a breath. Moment of. So Jan here saying, can I know any particular trait that's common in entrepreneurs? Okay, this is the bit where entrepreneur starting out is gonna pretend like he has been there, done that, and give entrepreneurial advice. Because like I said, I'm in my starting journey, right? Like I have I'm not a serial entrepreneur who had $1 million exit now and I can speak with authority on what works and what's not. It's more, I'm going to speak more, I think I'm going to speak more from intuitive sense. So I think intuitively, entrepreneur would be someone who can think of something in their hand and make it happen in the real world in a resourceful way. I think that's the definition I would have. So resourcefulness, innovativeness, creativity, ability to get stuff done, sell, build, code, all of these great traits for entrepreneurs to have. And risk-taking in a manageable way. But I'll be more comfortable answering that questions once I'm there. I'm not there yet. So what will be the skill of future? The skill of future would be whatever the future adopts. And what we're all, including Facebook, is making a bet on is the future will adopt a world which is mostly 3D, where people will have a entire economy in a 3D world called the Metaverse, which will be layered on top of the reality. And what that means, skills of the future will be very 3D oriented, at least in the programming sense. So, and a lot of it, the skills would, you can't predict it because the Metaverse is not here yet. It's like trying to predict what 2010 would look like when you're in 1995, when the internet just started out. When the internet first just started out in the 90s, it was basically, you had people like Jeff Bezos, 1995, building up Amazon from a garage. You had this Elon Musk with the PayPal stuff. Back then, no one had a clue or even an intuition as to what, the Snapchats or TikToks that came out recently. Those things were inconceivable back then. Or the app stores, stuff like that, That the app stores would be this own billion-dollar economy. No one could think of that because those stuff simply came because of the kind of once the technology was there ready for that kind of economies to emerge. So my point is, no one would know right now what the in-demand programming skill or in-demand talent would be in the Metaverse because it's not there yet. But what you can do is start building stuff that is in demand now, like what people are asking now, and then working towards that step by step. Nothing's predictable, really, so you can only make bets. So that's the short answer for that. Can I build startup using augmented reality? Depends. Again, okay, this is one thing. This is gonna be we'll end soon, so this will be the last question. So after Akshat's questions, we'll wrap up and we'll make our next moves. But yeah, so Akshat, you're asking, can I build startup using augmented reality? That's a very interesting question, man. Because that's one question I had 4 years back. So 4 years back is when I first got interested in AR, VR, and I saw the potential and all that. It was 4 years back. So my immediate thinking back then was, I was looking for startups, right? I was looking for, okay, what is the startup that I could build that is AR based, that is VR based? What is the AR startup that I could build? But I quickly realized that that's actually not a very useful thing to think about, because in my forward-looking, at least intuition-based view, is that a better question to ask would be, what are some so the best way to do it is, right, get involved in the community. Get involved in AR, VR communities, forums, stuff like that, and interact with people there. And quickly you'll come up with patterns or problems that people are facing. Some people might be asking, give you a very simple example. In this channel, a lot of you guys are asking about the complete AR package or the complete app to marketing to selling, the whole package course, right? So this problem, I wouldn't have known if I hadn't done this live video or interacted with you guys, if I hadn't built an audience around it, if I hadn't really gotten to know what people need and the kind of problem they want to solve. And so my point is, the first step should be being confident of a single problem that you want to solve, not necessarily a startup that you want to create or raising VC funding or building something, the next Facebook or something. You need to focus on a problem that a lot of people are having, and once you find that out, usually it comes through community involvement or audience building. Or market research, I never believed in that. Those reports and stuff, it's so generic. Then once you found the problem, then you start focusing on the solution to that problem. Then you think about the product, like what, maybe it might be a bit of app product, or it might have some AR features. It might be just a course, an online course. It might be a video. It might be a book. It could be anything. But my point is, don't get into the mindset about just AR VR startup because it's the new big thing. Get into more of a problem mindset. Try to figure out problems. And if the problem lies in the AR VR space, great. You could leverage that rising trend. But yeah, my personal belief is that simply riding the AR VR wave just to have an AR VR startup, that's not helpful. So, and so to put it more practically, the strategy that I'm following, which is what I could recommend only, is that instead of building a product, before even building, get into the habit of documenting your journey online and having an online presence of some sort. If you're not comfortable with video, start on Twitter or interact on Twitter, do a lot of tweets that add value to people, write articles if you're a great writer. And once you get into that momentum, it will take a long time, a year and stuff. So I've been doing this for a year and now I'm almost reaching 1K subscribers, which is not a huge, but I have bigger goals. But through this journey, just a 1 year journey, I learned a lot on what people actually want. I started out thinking Apple AR, but I'm figuring out a lot of people are more interested in Android AR. So stuff like that you only figure out once you throw content out there and receive feedback from the public. So yeah, so build a community or an audience, build your own channels, and then use that as a base to jump off into your startup or your product idea or whatever. I think that's the strategy I'm following. And I can speak more authoritatively that this worked when I get there, but right now I can't because I don't have I'm still in my beginning days, so I'm not gonna authoritatively tell you that this is how I made $1 million. So yeah, thanks for taking your precious time for this, but sorry I got to go now. I'll watch this live video tomorrow. No problem, man. Glad you joined, and thanks for joining as well. It's always a joy to have this. At last I feel you're a bit underweight. I hope you reach more but I can see you have a lot of... Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Glad that I got you. Precious comments. I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a privilege to have your guys. Oh, again, getting that survive. I'm more a sojourner, so sorry, a fellow traveler, so seeing it that way. Pleasure, Akshat. Great to have you involved here, man. Hope you good luck with all your stuff. Yeah, that's so true. It's funny how just the Meta announcement itself made a huge difference. So to be honest, these days I'm not too worried. No, I'll be lying if I'm not worried about subscriber growth. I do care about subscriber growth. I wouldn't lie, but I'm trying to focus more on building because I think I focus too much on selling. I need to focus more on building. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you both, and thank you everyone who joined. I'm not sure how many of you are tuned in at this point in time, but this live video had a lot more people than before, so I'm glad. It's such a joy to have interacted with most of you. Sorry, all of you, not most of you. It's a joy, and as you can see, I'm running low in energy. My introverted self is kicking in, and I need to go hide in my cave for a couple of hours before I can recharge and move on to the next thing. But it was such a pleasure, such a joy. And Rafael, thank you so much for your amazing work. If possible, could you make a video about saving and loading augmented reality sessions for Android? Great to see you, Rafael. And it's a very specific. If possible, could you make a video about saving and loading augmented reality? Oh, right, like persisting on Android, right? Or okay, like I said, I'm not done Android AR yet, but I can probably quickly. Can you do one thing? Can you actually email me at? Oh, let me just start back. I'm assuming you're like building this code and you're facing this problem. So if you're looking for like debugging advice, what I would recommend is if you send me an email with your code snippet that's causing the problem to this email, and then I could have a look and try to like debug on a high level and point you to some forums or resources that could help. I think that's the best way I could add value there, because I can't, to learn from scratch AR Foundation before answering that question will just be hitting in the dark. So just send me the, if you're debugging it, if you're that's the problem, just send me an email with the code snippet and I'll respond. And if I don't respond, slap me. I will respond. Hope that answers your question, man. Yeah, no problem. Pleasure. Alright, so again, thank you everyone for joining, and I'm going to end it now. And good luck with all your journeys, and let's do this again, live stream. And maybe next time we'll do a live stream where you guys could join as well, not just me talking in video. Alright, bye. Take care. Yeah. Officially say goodbye in text. See you guys. Adios.